Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers of Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers of Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers of Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us. I was kinda late, so I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fade, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome to a new episode of HWP Xtra brought to you by the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Of course, I'm your girl, Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of this fabulous platform, contributing writer for Daily DDT, and color commentator featured on the Belladonna Division, Battle Club Pro, Black Girl Magic 2022, and Spartan Wrestling. And I am not alone. Usually, when I'm doing an episode of HWP Extra to talk about certain events and matches or moments, I'm usually by myself. But this time, I'm not. I am with someone who is very special. She is a budding wrestling creator, a passionate wrestling fan, and a future WWE ring announcer, and someone who I hope can come to HWP more often as we continue to evolve. This is Bianca Addison. How are you, Bianca?
I am well. I have before we move on, that intro. Come on now. I said yes. Whoever rapped that, oh my gosh, amazing. But I am well. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on this podcast.
Absolutely. And like I told you when we first spoke, like I was very honored that you wanted to be on here. And I just can't wait to see, how much more we can evolve together as Black women in this wrestling space. I am just so excited when anybody wants to come and talk with me, wrestler or otherwise, fan, creator, or whatever. So I'm just really happy. And I felt like this was the perfect time for us to talk and chat as women because something historic is in our midst because of
Sure
course
is.
even though it's a huge wrestling weekend with AEW's All in Texas, Saturday night's main event for WWE, NXT, Great American Bash. It's just so much wrestling going on. Wow, superheroes is happening still. There's so much wrestling going on this week and this weekend. But of course, we are here to
Yes.
talk about this beautiful event that is just making the rounds in terms of discourse and just in terms of celebration. And it is
Whoop,
evolution.
whoop.
Now, of course, if you watch and if you keep up with the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, you know that I've already done an episode on Evolution 2018. I already discussed it and talked about and reviewed all the matches. So if you have not listened to that episode, please go back and watch it and listen to it. I had such a great time going back down memory lane, watching it again and talking about the evolution, no pun intended, of so many of these women in wrestling in the years since it's happened. It's been 7 years.
Wow.
And now, this Sunday, it's happening again. And Bianca, let me
Yes, ma'am.
ask you, how did you feel when you found out that Evolution was taking place again?
Well, first of all, I'm I was very, very happy that the women are finally giving the platform again to showcase their talent on an all female pay-per-view, which just so happens to land on my birthday. So I feel so blessed that WWE chose this day, but I'm sad I won't be there. But I'll be watching on Peacock. And to answer your question again, I'm very happy and excited. So, yeah, just this has been the best women's division I've seen in quite some time. So there's more improvement, but I feel like we're stepping in the right direction.
Yes. Now, I am a huge fan of wrestling on birthdays because I kid you not, like anytime I can watch an episode of Raw or SmackDown on my birthday, I just feel like the day was just made especially for me.
Yeah.
And it feels like, not only is this day an evolution just crafted for women all over the world, evolution is made just for you at this point of, your journey in life. The fact that this has come back and it falls on a special day where you get to celebrate yourself and then celebrate your womanhood and your journey so far, and then these women get to celebrate where how many strides they've made in their lives and
Yeah.
in the ring and all of the above. So it's beautiful that that's happening for you. And in speaking of it happening on special days, it is also taking place on the 10th anniversary of another amazing and historic moment in women's wrestling history.
What is
It's
that?
it's happening on the 10th anniversary of the debuts of Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Mercedes Moné, even though, of course, back then she was known as Sasha Banks. Um, this is taking place on the exact date that the women's revolution, or back then the Divas Revolution, got started.
I got
Now,
chills. Wow. Wow. I am mind blown right now.
yeah,
Wow. Is this a tease? Are they trying to tell us something? Because they
I
posted AJ
mean,
fault. So, like, is AJ returning? What's going on?
I don't know, but I will say this. When I did find out and do my research, when I looked and saw the date when it said July 13th, I looked it up and I was just like, that sounds like a day that's really close to something special involving the women. And when I Googled it and found out that that was the actual date, like it blew my mind and it brought chills to me and it made me very emotional as well because I remember this day like it was yesterday. It was 2015. I was at my boyfriend's house. We were watching Raw, and you know, the Bellas with the Bella Army, well, with Team Bella, with Brie and Nikki, along with Victoria Crawford, formerly known as Alicia Fox, were basically running roughshod over the women's division at that point.
Yeah.
Paige was slash Saraya was the only woman basically taking them all on, and she felt like it was unfair. So Stephanie McMahon comes out there and she basically evens the playing field and introduces these women, from NXT and brings them up to the main roster. And though at the time people were sort of upset that Bayley wasn't up there, having just won the NXT Women's Championship from Mercedes in that amazing match they had in Brooklyn. Um, this was still a history making moment, and it was the beginning of something new that we were seeing in WWE. So the idea that evolution is happening on this weekend is just, and on this day, is very purposeful, and I love it.
Me too.
So yeah, and I know a lot of discourse was made online about when the show was and in terms of the calendar, because of course we just had Night of Champions with WWE. We also have Saturday night's main event in NXT, and then of course you have the whole counter programming component of it all, and people having their feelings and feeling like it wasn't given a fair shake. But I honestly feel like it being placed on this date was very purposeful. How do you feel about it, Bianca?
I, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. Like, yeah, that was lots taken. I will admit that. Just trying to figure out what to say. I just, yeah, I'll shut up.
You're speechless.
I really am. I really am. Oh, yeah. I just all I would say is I hope Tamina comes back because I like Tamina. She's cool. She
Yeah,
deserves.
because Tamina was in that, and I feel like something that does get a little bit lost in translation is, we talk about the debuts of these three larger than life, stars who went on to just become iconic. But then you also have to talk about everything that the other women in this picture have done. You have Naomi there,
Me. See with
and
passion.
right. You have Naomi there, whose evolution from at that point healed Naomi, who was just hungry for the
Yeah.
right type of opportunity, to finding the inner glow within, and then her and Mercedes standing up for themselves and walking out. As heartbreaking as that was, it was necessary for them to stand on their worth and then become the stars that they are now.
Yeah.
And then you have Naomi probably in one of the best turns of her life right now, which we will get to a little bit later. And
And
then
then
you have, yeah.
and I love that they all had to leave to find themselves. And now look at
Hmm.
Mercedes Monet is like a what 6-time, 10-time champion at what NXT, not NXT. Oh my gosh, AEW, what New Japan
Right.
Pro Wrestling. Now you see Tamina. Oh, that's my girl. But you see Naomi with her evolution from the glow to where she is right now. She actually started as a Orlando Magic dancer. So
Right.
so humble beginnings. And here's Saraya, Paige, and at least she's off to better things. And now here's what was her name again? Victoria something.
Yeah, Victoria Crawford,
Victoria.
Alicia Fox, yes.
She went. She's still wrestling, but she had to leave to find herself. Now she's happy in a happy relationship. She's probably, I think she's married now. How
She is.
come I listen to her? But yeah, I like they all left, and here comes and we have the Bella twins who left. They're all everyone. It's very important to like leave to find yourself and to come if it's meant to, and if the universe and if it's in the universe's plans to bring you back to where you're supposed to be, then it will happen. But finding yourself is very important. And you talk about the evolution of where these women are in the women's division and in general. The women were disrespected back in the day. Like it
Hmm.
was nothing but being sexual over it was they were overly sexualized to the
Hmm.
point where all the men were like did the whistle tone they didn't and not giving a fair chance only because they were only given the chance because of their looks. So from that to this and landing on the day where this happened, it's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. And to witness it in the year 2025, such progress. And there's lots, and there's obviously a lot more progress to be done. And I feel like if Triple H got the hint when the give Divas a chance started to trend, because
Hmm.
if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have this. And I wish they
Right.
had more traction and build up for this pay per view. I don't want to I don't want to say they're kind of sexist in a way because why not give them traction like how you give the men traction and the build up to their pay per views. So there's still more progress to be done, but where I love the progress that's been made, but there's still work to be done.
Absolutely. There's definitely still work to be done. And when you think about, in terms of WWE, where the women were always sort of seen sort of like as, just like a palate cleanser
An
before
object.
you got to like the main thing, and how they weren't really like utilized to the best of their ability, even though it would happen like in spurts, but not on a consistent basis. This is amazing that it is happening. And of course, we will and of course, in terms of talking about, how long it's been since evolution has happened, you know, I hate that it took 7 years for it to happen, but at the same token, I am glad that it is happening now. because it's just, we actually have an administration and a regime in terms of WWE that is willing to listen to the people, as opposed to just, seeing what they're saying and then just tuning it out because you think you know it all.
Right.
I am happy that they were listening and did see, that there was a desire for evolution to happen. And I hated, before we even got to this point, hearing stories from people like Mickey James who, and like other women like Maria Kanellis, who were sent, there were people in charge or behind the scenes who felt like a women's pay-per-view wasn't going to sell out or wasn't going to make as much money and all of the above. I hate that it took all of that negativity to finally lead, to this. But at the same time, the journey towards things aren't always the prettiest.
Right.
So I am happy that the fans never gave up. We never stopped, shouting for it. I never stopped shouting for it. Because it's been on record on multiple people's shows, including my own, that I felt like they should have had it as an annual thing. So hopefully this could lead to them having it, on a regular basis.
It really
But we
should.
just,
I would
yeah,
enjoy.
but we just have to wait and see what happens from this weekend. And I'm just happy that it is happening
Me
on
too.
this amazing weekend.
Me too.
So, of course, you have I did want to talk more about, how a lot of these women like who made their debut on this weekend are doing, because you did see Charlotte actually wrote an editorial on the Players Tribune that just came out yesterday, and it was fantastic. And she talked a lot about her journey in wrestling, of course, what led to her starting in wrestling, which was her brother Reed, and of course her father being Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, but
Ooh.
also um, her finding herself, in wrestling and also dealing with the struggles of being a woman and wanting to do, things like have a family while also juggling her career and, keeping her identity and keeping herself grounded in the midst of all of this fame. And a lot of things that she mentioned in this editorial in terms of equality for women was very spot on. One thing that she mentioned that resonated with me the most was when she talked about ageism when it comes to women in wrestling, and how you can have people like John Cena and how you can have people like CM Punk, make their comebacks and nobody, bats an eye about it and everybody's happy and celebrating it. Whereas you'll have women like Mickey James, or women even like Charlotte, who will reach a certain age, and she admitted that she's almost 40, and then they'll be like, oh, you need to retire, oh, you need to hang it up, and all this other stuff. So, Bianca, tell me how you feel in terms of ageism when it comes to women in wrestling, and how do you think the notion should be changed in the fandom and also from the perspective of people in charge of things?
Yeah, she makes a really good point about that. You talk about how her father is a nature boy and he's still wrestling at what, 80? And no one has a problem with that. 70, 80?
Hmm.
Well, he's an elder. Anyway, yeah, you talk about, yeah, he's still wrestling. He retired how many times and he came back how many times? So
Hmm.
why and I hate how sexist that sounds. You talk about John Cena, you talk about CM Punk, who, by the way, two men who I love. They're my heroes, but I digress. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I just wish that this could stop. This could stop, and I'm happy that Charlotte or Miss Fleer or Ashley, if you will, um,
Hmm.
the woman behind the Charlotte Flair persona addressed this, because yeah, we're in 2025. It's things, there's progress, but with no one is too old to do anything. If you like something and you enjoy it, go for it. You're never too old. You're never too you're never too old. As long as you're not on your back, you can do anything. You can do anything. You set your mind to. Who says that um no one's too old to dream. And I don't care how old you are, but yeah, it's just very sexist in a way that men can have this privilege of continuing what they love, and there's a problem with women talking about, and there's like a talking talking about, oh, you're getting up there, aren't you going to have kids?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have kids. So
Yeah.
it's an issue that I wish men could realize, that it's an issue that I wish more men can realize how much of a problem that is, and something needs to change. So I'm happy we're having this evolution. We're having Evolution 2 on Saturday. This could not have come at a better time. Yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and it's just it's just in the editorial she was saying that she feels like, she felt this way after she wrestled Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39 in LA. That was one of the best matches I'd ever seen. And she stated that she felt like she's just reaching like her highest point. I'm just paraphrasing. And honestly, with the way that she performed that night, I can definitely say, that was a very fair as, observation to make about herself in knowing that she's only just reaching,
Yeah,
the best part of herself.
yeah,
And the fact that many people feel that, oh, well, you're reaching a certain age and that has to stop, is absolutely ridiculous. Because I mean, you have people like you have wrestlers like DDP, who started relatively late in his wrestling career and he became a world heavyweight champion in WCW.
yeah,
And and he's told his story. His story's been documented, multiple times. So it's just like I feel like we need to stop placing limits on people. Like, and I feel like that calls goes for all of sports, not even just in wrestling, but in all of sports. So yeah, because it's even weird when people talk about certain people in sports and be like, oh, well, they're 40, they need to stop. And I'm just sitting here like, well, what if they don't feel like they need to stop? What if they're taking care of themselves in such a way that they feel like they could go on until maybe they're 50?
yeah.
Like that is a possibility. Like the human mind and the human body can't be limited by,
Right.
constructs. So yeah,
Randy, you
Charlotte
already.
was
Sorry, you go ahead.
So yeah, Charlotte was spot on with what she said in terms of that, and I appreciate and applaud, her being so vulnerable in the way that she was on this weekend of all weekends. Like it just made so much sense, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, with more of the growth of the women we've seen, we also have Miss Mercedes Moné, who of course is, you know, who after her debut, she went on to become, a multi-time Raw Women's Champion, a one-time SmackDown Women's Champion, multi-time Tag Team Champion, and one of the first Black women to ever main event WrestleMania, won an ESPY award for, said thing. And then of course, like her and Naomi struck out on their own, and now look at her.
Look at her.
With all of the titles, six
All the
belts
glory.
Monet.
Yo.
I can't. I feel like it's well documented on this show how much I love her. She is my favorite female wrestler. Um, she is just, she's just a she's a business. She's a brand. She's the standard. She's the blueprint. She has all of these titles. She never rests on her laurels. She never just stays in the box that people try to place her in. And I'm just really grateful that even on this weekend, though she might not be a part of Evolution, she is, and she did state on it on Instagram Live that she is happy that Evolution is happening. She's set to make history in her own way by challenging Tony Storm, timeless Tony Storm, for the AEW Women's World Championship at All in Texas, which is a huge deal. In my opinion, I felt like that match should main event that pay per view, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, just seeing her evolution and seeing how she has made herself into who she felt like she always should have been. Because it could be argued that with all the history that she made, with all the first evers that she had in WWE, like her and Charlotte had multiple matches. They were the first women to ever main event a main roster pay per view at Hell in a Cell. Like the first women to have, I believe, a no holds barred match to main event a Monday Night Raw. Like they did so much. And for all of that she has done, there was just so much that wasn't given that was due to her. And I feel like she's just now getting it all. And she deserves it all. So it's nuts. It's just so nuts. How timing works in that regard.
Yeah.
And then of course you have Miss Becky Lynch,
And
who
the
is just
message is
the man who, became undeniable in her own right by standing up for herself and asking, how come I can't be the top dog? And she made herself the top dog. And now she's, main evented a WrestleMania, one of the first women to ever do so, with Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. And now she's the women's intercontinental champion. And it's crazy when you think about history, because at that time when she debuted, the women did not really have a mid card title. They didn't have tag team titles. They didn't have the IC or the United States Championship. Like they were all just, fighting for visibility and fighting for the Divas Championship, which then of course changed.
right.
So, and then you have Becky, who has gone on to do all these things, become a mother, um, become an author, all of the things. So it's just insane what happens in 10 years.
Yeah. I actually met her about 2 years ago for
Really?
her book. When her book released, she had a signing at Barnes and Noble in Los Angeles, and I was one of the first people there. Well, yeah, was one of the first people there. Yeah, I was one of the first few, not the first few, but I was there, and yeah, she was really cool. She was very nice. I remember her. I remember telling her my name. She says Bianca. Never met a Bianca and don't like. So
Clock it.
it was so fun meeting her. She was so nice and sweet. So yeah, I tower her a little bit. I'm a giant. I'm only 5'10", 5'11". But yeah, meeting her was so cool. Yeah, she was very nice and sweet. And
I'm
yeah,
so happy. I'm so happy you met her. I've never met her, but I did have someone on my show who really loves her. Stephanie Hypes. She's a wrestling writer for bodyslam.net.
I
And
know her.
she's the biggest Becky Lynch fan. And like their connection is very strong and very deep. Like the way I love Mercedes, she loves Becky. And I love Becky too. So it's just like seeing people have those moments is very, heartwarming, in and of itself. I've been in the same room with Becky a couple of times in terms of wrestling events and just, seeing her in press conferences. So that's cool. But, especially at this WrestleMania. So, I mean, that was fun. But, I've never actually had a chance to meet her. I would love to. I would also love to meet her child, too, because Rue just seems like such a cute baby, such a cool girl. So, yeah.
Yeah, ask you something now. Let's. I want to go back real quick. You talk about you've done like media for wrestling events, like seeing the wrestlers in the conference. How is that like? Is
It's
it
surreal.
kayfabe, or is it just are they keeping character after when they go off?
I
To
feel like I feel like this is a conversation we'll have to have offline.
okay.
Offline, that is an offline conversation, but I will say this. It is surreal to be there and face the people and be in the same room as the people who you watch on a constant basis. It's beautiful and it's an amazing opportunity that I'm blessed to have had multiple times. And it's very surreal. It really is, but you do have to be present for
Right.
yourself in that and that opportunity. That's what I will say. But yeah, and being in there with Becky Lynch, when she won the tag titles with Lyra Valkyria, and being there with Rue, who was talking about how much she loves Bluey now and not Peppa Pig. That was really funny. Like Becky has really become like I can tell she has so much fun being a mother. Like I love it. Like I love seeing her be a mother and just seeing her dote on her daughter and just, encourage her in the best of ways. It's beautiful, from one generation of womanhood to the next. And it's just a very beautiful thing. And it's great to see moments like that in real time.
I love how she
Um,
announced it.
yes. I love how she just loves on her and encourages her. It's very beautiful.
I
So,
love how she announced her pregnancy.
oh yes, I love the way she announced
Yeah.
her pregnancy too.
Oscar. Oh, I always think, oh, I wish there was a crowd. Oh my God, that pop would have been loud. Oh my
It would
goodness.
have.
Ugh.
It
The
would
pandemic
have.
is so weird.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was so surreal at that time, and that was when my podcast first started. It was right before the pandemic, but as you know, it was really awkward. I will tell you this because we didn't know each other then. So it was really awkward starting my wrestling podcast thinking everything was going to be normal, and then March 2020 hits, and then it just shifts over in having to be separated from everybody and everything to a degree. And then watching wrestling at that time, I just held on to it because I know that in the toughest of times, wrestling has gotten me through, and it's
hello.
given me something to focus on.
Yeah.
And having that podcast, just having this show fed into that a little bit more because I was able to work on something and create a community online and react to moments like that where she gave Oscar the title because she was having a baby. Like I felt like I wasn't alone during a time of isolation.
Right.
So, even though it would have been amazing for her to make that announcement, in normal circumstances, I'm still grateful that, we had the moment for what it was, even though it's surreal to think about now. And I hope we never go through anything like that again, Lord. But,
Like
but
I
my
would,
gosh,
I would.
yes, but my gosh, for the moment of in time that in which it was, it still brought a lot of joy.
It really.
And just seeing, Becky embrace that and then also come back and still be, the man that we know her to be after going through something like that and working her way back to being, a wrestler and then doubling both, and not and showing that you don't have to give up your career in order to be a mother. Like I love that. I love seeing that example play out.
Right.
So
Nikki Bella did too.
absolutely. Oh yes, and Nikki, every woman that's ever done it, since we're celebrating womanhood here on this
Yeah.
show, it's perfect with Nikki, doing it, Alexa Bliss doing it, like so many, like even Maurice doing it, even though, even though she may have wrestled, just one match in the last couple of years, like her tagging with the Miz after her having her two girls. Like it's amazing. I love seeing women bounce, have babies, be true to that level of their womanhood
Yeah.
and then be real about their purpose in life. Like before their motherhood. Like it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I
Me too.
love seeing stuff like that.
Me too.
And even if they chose not to do it anymore, that's their right, but it's
Right.
still a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And with Brie as well, like I just love every form of womanhood that you get to see expressed in women's wrestling nowadays.
As
Because
long as the women don't tear the woman down.
of course, absolutely. So it's a wonderful time to see the evolution of these women, um, and seeing them become the fullest version of themselves while also being these larger than life athletes. It's really
Yes.
great.
It really is.
So in moving away, from that subject and moving to this subject, you did sort of allude to sort of the build to Evolution this year with it sort of seemingly coming together in the last 2 weeks before. Matches being made, of course, with the first match being made on NXT, which is a show that I absolutely love and adore, and I love the way that they showcase their women.
It's
Absolutely. With the first match being announced on NXT, but then not hearing anything from the main roster for a while until after Night of Champions, and everything else like that.
Did it really take that
How
long?
I mean, for me, that's just kind of how I've internalized it. That's how it felt like for me because for a while we knew it's like they announced Evolution was happening, but then they were getting everything together for Night of Champions first because that was the first pay-per-view coming before that. Um, and then And NXT, of course, had their qualifier to see who would be the number one contender, of course, with Jordan Grace winning.
Yeah.
And after that, it was maybe a week before. It was like a week, and then it was like Night of Champions, and then after Night of Champions was really when they started pushing towards Evolution a bit more.
I wonder why it took that long. Shawn Michaels is doing a great job.
Yeah.
For him to like, do that first, and now, wow, I never realized that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and there was a lot of discourse about it online in terms of people feeling like Evolution as a pay-per-view was, well, as a premium live event. I'm sorry. I'm a child of the 90s. I'm gonna keep like I keep doubling back and going back and forth between pay-per-view and PLE, y'all. I'm sorry. But it's just
I say Triple H. I can't say Paul Levesque. I say Triple H. So
I say Triple H too. Like I it's just a thing. But it's just, there's been a lot of discourse about fans sort of feeling like they feel like Evolution was sort of given the short end of the stick,
right.
talking about, the certain build to certain matches and wondering how come there couldn't be more of a story put towards it, even though there are some stories put towards some of the matches that we will get to later on in the show, and sort of feeling like they felt like maybe people behind the scenes were trying to sabotage it by putting it right next to an NXT event and Saturday night's main event, where they keep talking about Goldberg versus Gunther and stuff like that. And I'll talk about how I feel about it in a minute, but Bianca, I want to know what your feelings are about it, in a sense, and then I'll talk about how I felt about it.
About Evolution not getting the attention it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or
yeah.
about the build of the matches or whatever.
Yeah. So like like I said before, like the women, I wish there was more attention to this all women's pay-per-view, the way WWE promotes all male pay-per-views. I remember back in the day, the women, I remember on Total Divas, actually, there was a segment, I think it was WrestleMania. Their match got cut for a men's match. So I remember that clearly. It was Naomi, the Bellas, I believe Paige or something. But I just wish I'm happy this progress. I'm happy it's getting traction, but I wish there would be no more storylines. More, because I feel like it's building up. It's barely getting built up. We have Trish Stratus with Stephanie having her first match, and it's just sad that it's not getting the attention it deserves to have, being this monumental pay-per-view or PLE, if you will. Now I'm just rambling, but well, like I said, I wish it didn't take this. It would build up months in advance and keep building up.
And and to a degree, I agree with that sentiment, because I guess because due to my excitement, my personal excitement about it, it was just like, okay, Evolution or bust. That was sort of what my feelings were about it. And those feelings of excitement were very valid, of course. And I will never take away the feelings of anyone else, especially you or any other fan, about how they feel about this pay-per-view not getting the full attention that it deserves. I'll never take that away. And even with the purposefulness of the date of it, I do wish that there was a little bit of more meat behind the stories, but I don't think they were trying to sabotage it either. Is it okay to have, like, I want to have a little bit of nuance to the conversation, as opposed to like it just being black and white.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, of course, like I mentioned earlier, the date of it is very purposeful, with it being the 10th anniversary of the women's revolution starting. I feel like that's fine, and that was beautiful. And and of course they have that weird pocket of time where a Saudi Arabia show is going to happen and a Saudi Arabia show is there, and that's a little bit awkward timing and whatnot. But at the same time, you know, there is a level of storytelling for the women that I do wish was given. But I also can't sit here and pretend that, of course, we did sort of have the Nikki Bella and Liv of it all that could have happened, but Liv got injured, and there's really nothing that could have been done about that because that was a freak accident. Accidents happen. So, you know, we hate that stuff like that happens, but that's just the truth. But I also feel that there was still so much more in terms of timing and story and pacing that could have been given towards these matches. But I also feel that there were other stories that were still taking place that we are seeing coalesce at this event that still feeds into, you know, the greatness of the event, even though it could be argued that some of the matches were just kind of like, oh, well, I'm choosing this opponent. And you could say that it was sort of thrown together in the way that they're having these people choose their opponent. But at the same time, I do love that the women's champions have a choice, you know? And it's not just, oh, well, let's just throw this together and you're going to go against this person. And it's not just a general manager telling them, a man, you know, telling them you're going to face this person. It's a woman saying, you know, I want to face this person because.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a lot of nuance to it, but I'm not taking away anybody's feelings at all. Because there was a lot better beefiness and storytelling that could happen with the women that I see in terms of the men, because the story with Seth Rollins and Roman and CM Punk, and the bloodline, like I want to see a story like that happen with the women.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's more of that I do want to see. Like I want to see, you know,
right.
More of like a rivalry of best friends fighting each other, like the way Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn do. Yeah. Like I don't want everything to just be, you know, short term, which is another thing that Charlotte did kind of mention in her editorial, in terms of equality of time that the women should have in terms of story. And that feeds into Evolution as well, but it does not take away from the point. I just don't want all of the anger and the discourse to take away from the point of celebrating where the women have come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a thought.
Does that make sense?
It does. I had a thought. You said something that that brings me to what I've been saying. I wish this pay-per-view had. You talk about how you wish that women had more the same segments, the way that we see, and like you see what the men. I'm stuttering, y'all. Hold on. You talk about like how you wish you saw there would be more storylines with best friend rivalries and Kevin and Sammy. That brings me to like what I've been saying. Like I wish the storylines and the Evolution would have a bigger build up to what we're seeing evolve right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like the women have potential, and I feel like WWE today is like, I don't want to say dimming their light of what they can really do, but like at the same time, it's feeling that way. And does that make sense? It's because I mean it's progress, but
it's slow.
Yeah, and there's a lot to
It's slow progress,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and people can argue, you know, that slow progress is still progress, but at the same time, you know, there's progress that could still happen because, you know, something interesting that I did notice, even last night when watching NXT, you know, you had the battle royal that's supposed to be happening, that we will discuss.
Yes.
You have all these women, you know, in the room. And you had Julia standing there with the Women's United States Championship. And then you also had Zelina sort of, standing on the floor, who is another fave of mine, well documented. Um, and it's just, and you have, those two who have.
We got technical difficulties, everyone. Miss Hardy has left the building. But and we're
Okay, I'm
back.
sorry. You have Zelina who's been sort of alluding to sort of a darker turn. Like,
Yeah.
why can't we see that darker turn? That has not aired yet, so we don't know exactly how her getting a rematch for that title is going to coalesce. So I will give them time. But if she, is not doing this dark turn immediately, um, or if she's not, having a match at Evolution, like what is the payoff from that? Like there is definitely something more that could happen with that.
Mhm.
Dallas Cash is watching. He's from the Humble Roses. He's watching us. He's saying hey.
Hey,
Um,
that's Cash.
and he's also saying hey to you.
Oh, hey. Oh, I like your avatar. Okay, braid. Okay, dreads. Okay, facial hair. I see you. Woman
Oh
does
yeah,
some
he has an
damn right.
insane face card.
Period.
But yeah,
Everything
um,
got
check out the Humble Roses, y'all. But thank you for watching, Dallas. But yeah,
that.
like there's a lot of progress that has been made, but there's still so much more progress that could be made in terms of the women and the amount of story that they do get to tell, that a lot of the men do get to tell, and they deserve equality of time, just like and equality of opportunity as well, and not just it on paper,
Yeah.
and that's not to say that there hasn't been great stuff that has happened, but at the same time there's still so much more progress, and hopefully more of it can start here, at Evolution happening. um
I feel like around the wrestling world, it's happening. We have WoW, we have
yes.
Glow, so
Well,
that shouldn't be an excuse not to build these women's pay-per-views to their full potential. This so yeah, I'll be watching. But yeah, I've just wish so much work to be done. But yeah, these women deserve better. I know this is like the best women's division I've seen in quite some time. So
mhm.
and about and is it in the past evolution, was it Raw and SmackDown, or is it Raw, SmackDown, NXT, like how it is now?
It was Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and also NXT UK, because they had a dark match.
Yeah.
Um, they had a dark match between Rhea Ripley and Dakota Kai, for the NXT UK Women's Championship. Which is of course defunct now, but they had a dark match before Evolution itself started, and then of course Rhea Ripley was in the Mae Young Classic that year, because that was the last year they had it. But she did not win.
Okay.
um she didn't win that year, but she watched the match, and she was on Evolution in terms of an audience member watching it, but she wasn't a part of the show proper, as we know it. So it was NXT also, because you also had Kyrie Sane as the NXT Women's Champion fighting Shayna Baszler.
Wow. Okay. Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
badass.
And then of course you had Becky and Charlotte fight in the last woman standing, for the SmackDown Women's title, and then you had Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey fighting for the Raw Women's title. So every show was represented. Yes.
When was the oh, that was NXT. I'm talking about that match between Bailey and Sasha, that iconic match. That
Oh, that
NXT.
was on NXT. That was
It was.
NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Okay. Wow, Brooklyn. Wow. I barely
Yeah.
I will admit I just started watching NXT religiously like a year or two ago.
Oh,
So and
okay.
I'm happy I'm watching because NXT is amazing and deserves better. So
Baby, NXT, man, it was a time where NXT pay-per-views would come on before the larger main roster pay-per-views, and it would make us wonder how in the world could they follow it.
mm,
and it's nuts. And the level of NXT has changed now, of course, because the talent has changed, but the level of excellence still remains the same. And I recommend NXT to anybody. But I am happy that you're getting into it though.
Yeah, I love
Um,
it. It's great.
because it just serves as a launching pad for so many things creatively. It's just so beautiful. I love the show. I always have loved it. So yeah.
I love Booker
Um
T. Oh yeah, man.
you know what? I was being so serious and you did that Booker T and now you just cracked me up. Okay.
And
That
then
was
when
perfect.
whoop, jazz, jazz, oh yeah, I
Oh my
like,
god.
I am it. It's so
Exactly. It was he is so hilarious and
oh my
he deserves the world. I
god,
love that man. I love Booker T down.
a mess. I love
I
it.
love him. That's the OG. Um, but yeah, NXT is great. And in speaking about NXT, we are now at the point of our show where we're gonna give our Evolution 2025 predictions.
Hello.
Hello, because Sunday it's game time, okay?
Sending my birthday, people.
Yes, it's Bianca's birthday and it is game time up in here. And of course, Evolution will emanate from Atlanta, Georgia, the dirty South.
Okay.
Welcome to Atlanta where the players play. And that's where it's happening at the State Farm Arena, right across from Mercedes-Benz,
Cody
a
Rhodes.
historic town in wrestling as a whole, birthplace of WCW, all the things. So now that we've gotten that part out of the way, it's time to get cracking with these predictions. So,
Ooh,
in terms of talking about NXT, we have the NXT Women's Championship on the line between JC Jane, one of the most surprising NXT Women's Champions of all time, not in terms of talent, but just in terms of just her journey and where she's been, going up against someone who I consider a pillar of women's wrestling and its evolution, Jordan Grace. I was very happy to see that Jordan got this opportunity on a personal level because the first time I saw her in person was for a match I got to commentate for here in Gaston, Alabama at the Belladonna division, which was an all-female show.
oh,
And
word.
yeah, and she was in TNA and her and Jazz had a tag team and she was so beautiful to me and she was just really nice and I just loved working with her and just watching her fight Renee Michelle. Like that was just one of the most insane things I'd ever seen and just watching her work. I just knew she was going to be in WWE someday. I knew it. I felt it in my bones. And just as sure as we're alive and breathing, here she is. And for her to be a part of, the historic TNA Knockouts division and everything they've done for women's wrestling, even before the, revolution happened in WWE, it just means a lot that someone who was birthed from TNA gets to be a part of this. So I'm happy about this. So, Bianca, what is your prediction for this women's championship match between JC Jane and Jordan Grace?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I remember when I first saw Jordan Grace, those muscles. Oh my god. And then I see this photo of her doing her bodybuilding, and this is one picture I remember. I can't get it out of my mind. Oh my gosh, she was extremely dark. I thought she was black.
Oh wow.
It was Chris Van Vliet posted an old picture of her and Cody Rhodes, and now, and I can't. I'm confused. I'm so lost. Is she black or is she white?
No, she's white. She's white.
Because
Yeah, that was just a really good 10, I would imagine. But yeah, she is a white woman.
Because I was like, is she going through a Sammy Sosa phase? Like, what is going on? Like,
no, like she's a black woman. I mean, not a black woman. I'm sorry.
Oh.
She's a white woman. She's a white woman. Yes.
Okay.
Forgive me.
No, it's fine. But so now that I got that out of the way, I'm not too familiar with JC James. All I know is they're part of Fatal Influence, right?
Yeah, she is a part of Fatal Influence with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix.
I will give it to Jordan Grace only because, look at her. Like, just do you see those muscles? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's got this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree because here lately on NXT, since you did, kind of just get into it and stuff, since Jordan has been on NXT, she's had multiple chances at the Women's Championship, and she has been a multi-time TNA Knockouts champion, and so, it could be assumed, and she was also a digital media champion as well in TNA, so everyone sort of expected that at some point she was going to win this title, but she has not. It's like it's always been held by these women who just had her number. And I feel like this right here would be the perfect opportunity for her to win. But then you also can't discount the craftiness of JC Jane because she is also gifted athletically, but she has the X factors of her faction members too, and shenanigans could be afoot, but I hope it wouldn't go that way because of course Jordan, there is a tag team match that is happening on NXT's Great American Bash on Saturday between Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May, going up against Fatal Influence too. So I'm wondering if Blake Monroe will be there for her or will we see, a TNA knockout presence, who could be there to be in Jordan Grace's corner. Like that's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting that maybe Blake Monroe or a TNA knockout could be in her corner and she would win.
That would be cool. I don't watch
Yeah.
TNA. I don't have access to it.
Yeah,
But
I know. Yeah.
that I hear great things. So, and I know that NXT and TNA are,
hmm
or have collaborated. So that's very cool. So, yeah, I'm on Jordan. I'm on Team Jordan Grace on this one.
Me too. I am on Team Jordan Grace for this one too.
Wasn't
So
JC Jane's win controversial?
it was controversial because Fallon Henley interfered on her behalf
Right.
against Stephanie HWP.
Yes.
And JC covered her for the 1-2. She hit her finisher after Fallon kicked her, and then hit the 1-2-3, and that was what it was.
Yeah, I like that.
Then on top of that, she also came from another faction. Since we're talking women's history too, because JC Jane was sort of in this other faction called Toxic Attraction with Mandy, Sachs,
Rose?
formerly known as Mandy Rose, yes, and Priscilla Kelly, formerly known as Gigi Dolan, and she was a multi-time tag team champion with Gigi. But nobody in the fandom ever imagined that she would win the championship in this way. So when she did, not only the way she won it, but just the fact that she won it was just like, what? And then the way that she beat Stephanie too was just like, what? Everybody thought that Stephanie was going to be NXT champion forever.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I hope she gets another title run. The title that belt looks good on her.
Yeah, it does look good on her, but I'm definitely predicting Jordan Grace as the winner to
Agreed.
Set things forward for her in her WWE career. So I can't wait for this match. I'm excited.
Oh.
And now we move to predicting this WWE Women's Championship match between Trish Stratus, Miss Stratus faction, the OG, the legend, going up against Tiffany Stratton, a battle of the blondes, if you will. Another battle of the blondes that Tiffany is taking place in, because of course her and Charlotte had a big match at WrestleMania, which she won. And she just defeated Nia Jax in the last women's standing match. So Miss Ma'am is on a roll. So I was definitely gagged when she, challenged Trish because they were tag team partners at Elimination Chamber a few months ago. So I was just like, okay, so they're fighting each other. And this is Trish Stratus's first championship match in a number of years. So this is really interesting. I can't wait to see how this turns out. So Bianca, what are your predictions for this match?
I feel I hate that. I hate that I'm thinking this. But if worst case scenario, Tiffany retains. But we have Naomi
Mm.
in the bank. So I believe that either if one of these two women win, Naomi will definitely cash in.
Mm.
I truly believe that. If not, I believe just I think I think I don't like that I'm saying this because of what she said about Charlotte. But I think
Oh
she'll
no.
retain. But then not for long because I believe that Naomi will cash in successfully.
Hmm.
And that's been on my mind for a long time. So yes. Yeah. I
Would
really
she
think
cash? You
I
you really think she would cash in on the same night she has a match against Jade, which is no holds barred?
don't proceed with caution. Proceed with caution. You never know. She'll hit you
Yes,
right upside the head with that back of your head with that briefcase without you even knowing.
which is
That's
fabulous, by the way. That
exactly what.
briefcase is gorgeous. Love it.
Yeah, with all the tape and everything. I love that. But yeah, I. But then we have Trish Stratus. She likes my ring announcing video I did for her. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh. Trish. I think Naomi will cash in.
Okay,
I think so. Now
okay.
is her match with Jade last?
Oh, I don't know the order.
See, that's the
We don't
thing. Like
we don't know the order, and
we
that's
should
fine.
know.
That
We
no, but
should
we
know.
don't. But we don't,
And this takes me
and
back
that's
to
okay.
back to like how I wish the build is more organized.
I
I
mean,
see.
but here's the thing, though. I feel like for every pay-per-view, we don't necessarily go in knowing all of the order.
That's
I feel
true.
like I feel like a lot of the time people be predicting the order of how they think it's gonna go, but
Yeah.
ultimately it could wind up being something completely different. They might change up on us. So I don't think the order really has anything to do with it per se. So I feel like Tiffany, I feel like this is very interesting because at the last Evolution, Trish was in a tag team match on Team Bestie with Lita, going up against Mickey James and Alicia Fox slash Victoria Crawford, and I think this is an interesting, opportunity for her to have, considering it's the 25th anniversary of her wrestling career starting, and I feel like her celebrating that by having another championship opportunity would be amazing because she really was, a girl out here who had multi-time
Yeah.
multi championship reigns. And for her to have another one, that would be insane for me. I would love it, low key. Um, I would really love it. So I mean, hey.
I
But
also think. Sorry.
yeah.
I also think that Lita will interfere. She will definitely come out to help Trish for sure, no question. Team Bestie, I truly believe that. If that happens, I hope that Lita keeps Naomi from cashing.
Yeah. But there's a part of me that is also predicting that Tiffany is going to retain, though.
Me too. Me too.
And this is no shade because I love Trish Stratus all the way down. And I would love it if she won another championship. It would just be fantastic. But I am predicting that Tiffany Stratton is going to retain her title. And because she really has just been on a substantial tear recently, and I just feel like she's going to retain. But if Trish won it, I wouldn't be mad because that's my girl.
Yeah.
That's my girl from the 90s. If she
Yeah.
won, but I can't wait to see the athleticism that she is going to give against someone like Tiffany, who is just crazy and talented. So it's going to be an interesting battle of the blondes.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be cool. So we have this battle royal that we did previously mention um, in the show. And of course, the winner earns a championship match at Clash in Paris, which
I
is
love that.
taking place the week of my birthday. But will
Oh,
I be in Paris? No.
nah,
Um, oh God, I wish. I wish I had the budget for a Paris trip, but I
one day.
don't. One day,
Yeah.
we'll speak it. We'll speak it
Manifest.
into existence.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
one day. So, as it turns out, I have this in my notes. The participants in the battle royal that we know about right now are Nikki Bella,
Okay.
Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vaquer, Lash legend Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, and Tatum Paxley. And of course, when you have a battle royal, there is so much room for so many surprises that could be in store. You never know who could pop up, who
Mm-hmm.
could make an appearance, and all of the above.
AJ girl.
So, oh Lord.
Ciao.
We could talk about AJ and how WWE's YouTube channel has been releasing things about AJ Lee in the last 2 days. We could talk about that, but I'm low key scared that they're getting my hopes up just to crash them. I don't. I I I know they're not obligated to care about my feelings in that way, but if she did come back, I'm popping, I'm screaming, I'm crying. And then someone on Twitter predicted, wouldn't it be cool if she came back to do commentary? And that would make me happy too, because she did commentary on WoW for a
Yeah.
short period of time, and it was good. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm trying to just wait for whatever surprises could very well be in store. But Bianca, who do
Yes.
you think is first of all gonna could show up for this thing, and number two, who do you think is gonna win it?
Oh, okay. Who do I think will show up? Well, we got AJ. um, who else is there? Maybe Saraya will go back to Paige.
Oh,
Maybe Britt Baker.
oh.
Maybe I've been thinking Britt Baker for a long time now.
Oh Lord, that's a big one.
Yeah, that would be.
Hold up, I think I gotta make an adjustment real quick. Britt Baker, Bianca,
Yeah,
Britt.
Britt motherfucking paper from Baker from Steel City.
Lord,
Mhm,
the good doctor.
and
Oh my God, that would rip the internet into pieces if that happened. I'm not sure. I feel like that pop would rival the pop of CM Punk coming
yes,
back, and
yes.
and my ears took some time to recover from that because I was there for that. So it's just like my
This
ears
one, what? CM
when
Punk?
when he
You're lying.
returned to
No,
WWE. I'm not
no.
lying. I wouldn't
What?
lie. I'm
I would.
serious.
I didn't watch it live.
We're
I
oh my God.
I
We're
was
okay.
on the
We're talking.
phone.
Okay, we'll
I
talk
was
about
on the.
that offline though. But
Oh
we're
my
talking
god.
about we're talking about the women. But that would rival that. But Dr. Baker, I
Yeah.
mean, considering we don't know, what her status currently is, I mean, that would be nuts. And
Right.
even Paige, even Soraya coming back would be nuts too. So those are very substantial predictions that you're making for this battle royal.
I've been feeling
Very
this
substantial.
for a long time now.
Very
That
substantial.
AJ. Who else? Who else is there? Brie Bella. Um,
I want Jazz.
Jazz is cool. I'm getting to know her. She's cool. I can I swear? Can I cuss? Can I cuss?
Well, I mean, you already cursed
Oh.
earlier, so I mean, we might as well.
let's break the ice. Let's say fuck on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck! You didn't say it. Come on.
I'm sorry. Just no. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Jazz is cool. I like her. I like her vibe. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Jazz.
Jazz, she's a very underrated icon, and I feel like her in that would literally blow my mind to bits.
Karma.
Like, oh my God, Awesome Kong, yes, Karma, God. I
I
would
like
cry.
her. Me too. I mean,
I would cry. Oh my God, if it was her. So all of these are very substantial very substantial predictions. Now, who do you think is gonna win though?
There's a few.
Hmm.
Rhea Ripley definitely has potential. Stephanie
Rhea
Bucket.
Ripley has a match.
Oh, she does?
She has a match on Evolution.
She does?
Yes, she does. She's not in the Battle Royal.
Oh, okay. My bad, Rhea. um, Stephanie Bucket definitely has potential.
Hmm.
Julia with those braids definitely has potential.
Yeah.
If Jade Cargill didn't have her match with Naomi, Jade Cargill has potential. Who's out there? Oh my god, there's a lot of women. Who's out there? The possibilities are endless. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, and with all the women that they showed, that's representing NXT too, like that could be a wild card. And then you also have, just and even just the talent that we saw from the main roster last night. Like it could be nuts. You could have Natalia who could win. You could have Maxine Dupree who could win. Like that would be nuts if Maxine won. I would love that because she did, because she impressed me in the Royal Rumble. And I wish she would have stayed in the match a lot longer than she did in this year's Royal Rumble, but it would be nuts if she won and I would love it. Um so
She's funny.
she is funny and she's just incredible. But ultimately I think I'm predicting that Stephanie will win the Battle Royal because she has that whole international factor to it,
Yeah.
and just any match with her versus Io, her versus Rhea, her versus anybody is bound to be a good match. So I'm predicting that Stephanie Becker will win the Battle Royal and go to Clash in Paris.
Now let me ask you, what are your dream matches?
What are my dream matches? Do you want to? I can't. Not on this show. Not on this show. We'll talk about it later off
Okay.
camera because we still got other matches to predict. So, yeah, it's pretty solid stuff for this battle royal. I'm very excited for it, but I'm predicting ultimately that it's going to be Stephanie to win. Okay. Oh wait a minute. I think I pressed the wrong button. All right. We got a battle of the Black Queens.
Yes.
We have Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no holds barred match.
That's insane.
When I found out that this match had this stipulation, I was so excited because I didn't see the announcement of it. I was doing something else, and then I came back in the room, and then I saw it on Twitter that it was going to be no holds barred, and I'm excited because from a wrestling fan perspective, I've never experienced a no holds barred match
In person.
in person, no. And I've never experienced women having a no holds barred match either. So the combination of both of these things live is going to give me life and oxygen. And I'm just so excited because both of these women are just so amazing and iconic. And of course, Jade is looking to get her lick back because Naomi has just been torturing her ever since she attacked her, and then it was revealed that she was her attacker.
Yeah.
And now she's got the Money in the Bank briefcase, and now Jade is, of course, now Queen of the Ring, which means she has an opportunity at whoever wins the championship match against Tiffany or Trish or whoever, basically at that point, who's holding the title. So with a no holds barred match, they could fight anywhere, do holds anywhere, fight all over the arena, possibly fight in the parking lot, possibly beat each other with kendo sticks and chairs and all the things. And I'm just excited for all the mayhem. So Bianca, what are your predictions for Jade versus Naomi in this no holds barred match?
Well, first of all, every time I hear no holds barred, I always think of Triple H and Undertaker. That was the first time WrestleMania 27 was my first time watching WrestleMania, and the first time I heard the phrase no holds barred. So every time I see a no holds barred match, it's a huge deal. So Now that's this match with two black women. It's so important. I love that. The representation is there. It's couldn't have come at a better time. I love that for us as black women and women in general. So now who will win? Oh God, I love them both.
Me too.
Oh my God, you have someone who left the company, came and went to TNA, came back, and is thriving. Now you see another woman who was in a different company how many years ago, and now is in the biggest promotion in the world.
Right. And she's queen of the ring, man.
She's queen of the ring. They both have muscle.
So wonderful.
They're both so powerful. Oh my God. I think it will end in a draw. I'm just kidding.
I've never known a no holds barred match to end in a draw. Like, I've never heard of that. I ain't never heard of that. I'm at to ask my daddy. I ain't never heard of that. Bianca.
Someone might interfere in the who will win? I think Jade, because she's powerful. Look at her. Like, I think Jade will win because she's been through enough. She's been through enough. She didn't hurt Naomi. Yeah, I think Jade will win. Yeah, but then you have Naomi and her briefcase. She might use that to cheat. So,
but in a no holds bar match, there really is no cheating because you can use a weapon. So it's legal.
I think during this match, Bianca Belair will return to distract Naomi.
Oh,
so allowing Jade to win. So I think Jade Cargill will win with Bianca Belair's assistance.
Yeah, I like that prediction because, funny enough, a lot of people were really bummed out at the idea that Bianca wouldn't be able to make it or be a part of Evolution.
She has a great name.
She was right, and then of course, and then of course at the last Evolution she wasn't on the main roster yet, so she was just sort of starting in a sense because she was in the Mae Young Classic and she was watching from the audience and stuff, so it would be wonderful if she were a part of it even though she couldn't get in ring in action and stuff like that. And that would be a great way for her to get involved in the action by actually assisting Jade in some way, shape, or form. So that would be cool. I would like that very much. And it sort of keeps the big three conflict it keeps it going. And I like that.
Look at what happened at Elimination Chamber. Didn't Jade Cargill come back and attack Naomi?
Yes, she did.
So that might happen when Bianca Belair returns to attack Naomi so Jade can win.
Right. Considering the last time her and Naomi were in the ring together, she said that stuff about her mom and broken their house and everything. And honestly, I don't care broken hand or not. I would have destroyed her then. But
that didn't happen. That's just a story.
and I don't even fight. But let's be serious. For my mama, I will tear down a brick house. Okay. And that brick house would be Naomi that day. So yeah. Oh God. But yeah, Bianca being involved is a really, really great prediction. And I like that. And Jade winning would be cool too. And then that would send Naomi more so over the edge because Jade beat her at WrestleMania. So that would definitely send her more over the edge and make her even more unhinged. So
but then and then she can be happy with the championship. I truly believe that.
Maybe, but she could.
It's his woman. Never mind.
Yeah, she could hold, or she could hold on to it for another occasion. Who knows?
I wouldn't mind to have it draft. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to wait.
No, let's wait.
She said,
Let's wait. Because the fun is in the surprise.
That's true.
The fun is in the surprise. That's why I love Money in the Bank so much, because there's a surprise element to it. You just never know. It's like you think one thing is one way, but then once that briefcase come in, boom, everything done changed, and I just love it. So I'm here for it, and I'm here for Jade winning. That's my prediction. I'm predicting that Jade will win. And I agree with you that Bianca being a part of it would be cool too. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. But either way, this no holds barred match is going to be nuts. And also, in a full circle moment, I love that this is happening in Atlanta, because the last time these two were in Atlanta together, they were together as the Big Three hosting Bad Blood. And this was when Jade and Bianca were the tag team champions, and Naomi wasn't holding a title at that time, but that sort of fed into why she went crazy and did what she did, because she felt like the third wheel. So it's a very full circle type of storyline thing. So
Bianca's
I like
definitely
it.
returning. She's definitely
Yeah,
returning. And it would be a caption for sure. No question.
full circle stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm excited. I'm so excited. Yay, Black women!
Come
Yes.
on.
Bless the Lord. Okay. I love this. Okay.
Next. Ooh.
Yeah, we got this tag team title match, this fatal four-way for the women's tag team championships. And like we say in terms of history, the women's tag team championships did not exist yet at the
No.
first Evolution. Now they exist, and they're being put on the line. Of course, being held by Raquel Rodriguez and now Roxanne Perez in the absence of Liv Morgan and her injury, representing the Judgment Day, going up against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Team Queen, Queen Goddess. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Team Queen Friends Forever. I don't know.
Oh,
Versus Sol Ruka and Zarya from NXT, and she's gonna have a busy weekend because Sol Ruka also has a North American title match against Izzy Dame at Great American Bash, so she's gonna have a busy weekend for sure. And then the returning Kabuki Warriors in the form of Asuka and Kairi Sane. Oh, this is so hard. I feel like this is really the hardest to predict for me, honestly. So, Bianca, what are your predictions for this fatal four-way match?
This is just champion. Is this a championship match or just like a regular?
Yes, this is for the women's tag team championship.
I think for the story purposes, since everyone in the Judgment Day has championships, maybe Raquel and CM Punk's daughter will return.
CM Punk's daughter. Oh, I'm sorry.
But then, wow. And then you have Charlotte and Alexa, and they may win because it's Charlotte. They may give it to her. And then, I like how the Kabuki Warriors returned and walked off on Raw. It's so
singing their song. I was like, I thought that was so cute. I was like, yes, girl. Yes. Sing it.
Got the insane elbow. You got Asuka's move. What's her move?
The Asuka lock.
Yes, you have that. Mm-hmm. And I like Sol Ruka and Zarya. I'm getting to know Zarya, but I like Sol Ruka. She's cool. Gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Raw, SmackDown, NXT.
Like I said, it's hard.
It really is.
This is the hardest to predict, honestly.
It would end in no DQ. It would no.
But in a fatal four-way,
it will end in disqualification. I'm just kidding.
I don't think there's a DQ in not a fatal four-way.
Who will win this? I think Kabuki Warriors will take it. I think so. because they're so good. They're dangerous. But then you have Charlotte's moonsault, and then you have Alexa's move.
And then you also have Sol Ruka's like moonsault too, and all the things she can do. That's gonna be nuts.
Oh,
Oh god.
and then you got the pop rocks. It's gonna be a mess. I'm excited.
Oh,
Who will win? A woman will win. That's my prediction. A woman will win.
two of the a female team will win.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah, we see what
Okay.
turns out. Do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
I
It's-
haven't watched it in so long.
RuPaul says this is iconic moment where RuPaul says, "I can't wait to see how this turns out," and then he holds these. You have to watch it to understand. It's hilarious. But anyway, yeah, a woman will win.
Right.
That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Okay. Well, I'm predicting that Charlotte and Alexa will win. I'm predicting that Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss will win simply because there's just been this back and forth between them where they've been trying to sort of find their groove as a team. And Charlotte feels like, she's above being a part of a team, even though she's been a tag team champion before. Albeit it was short. She was a tag team champion with Asuka. And I just feel like her and Alexa are on this path where they're learning that they can work great together if they let themselves do it. So I feel like Charlotte and Alexa could very well win the women's tag team titles, which would further drive the Judgment Day apart because you have Roxanne and Raquel who barely trust each other to begin with. So yeah. And it wouldn't hurt Sol Ruka and Zarya, and it wouldn't hurt the Kabuki Warriors to not win the titles at all. So I'm predicting that Charlotte and Alexa will win.
We shall see how this turns out.
Oh yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's what my prediction is. So I know my computer was trying to like move forward with the other match, but we're gonna go ahead and actually do it for real this time.
Ooh.
We have the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Becky Lynch, the man, Lyra Valkyria, the former and inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship champion, and Bayley. Bianca, what is your prediction for this triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship?
Oh, Pam, you deserve better. Come on, Bayley. Hey, Bayley.
Ooh. Ah.
I would love you to be my girl. Come on now. Yes.
Exactly.
I see what people say about her. She's not advertised enough. But she's won enough. Oh God, no. Hasn't she? And, never mind. I take that back. But then you have oh gosh, this is hard.
It's very hard.
You got Lyra Valkyria with that song. Woo! Do-do-do. Woo! Do-do-do. Woo! Do-do-do. I'm trying to keep the pace. Do-do-do. Woo! And then you got the LZ. Come on. You got Big Time Bex who stole Lyra's championship. And you got Bayley.
And attacked Bayley and took her WrestleMania spot at that. WrestleMania in Vegas, Bianca.
Who deserves it?
Vegas. Oh.
That's true because she returned and then they lost it the next day and then she.
Vegas. I'm still not over Vegas.
Does Becky retain? No.
Well, what do you think? What's your prediction? Do you think Becky will retain?
I think she will. If not, I think. Wow. I don't think Lyra will get it back. Oh God! I think the possibilities are so endless.
Yeah, this one's also hard to predict. This one is equally as hard as the tag team championship match to predict. These girls are so gifted.
Yeah,
All three of them, just gifted.
it's gonna be a mess between all three because
Oh yes.
there's some animosity between them in some way. So I think Bailey will get it because it's only fair that Lyra had it first, and then Becky, and now Bailey. So I think Bailey will get it. I think so. If not,
I would love it.
We'll get it back. But I think Bailey will.
I would love it if Bailey won it. That would be fantastic if she did. Because Miss Ma'am, that is a horsewoman who does not get enough credit. Like, she gets credit, but she doesn't get nearly as much credit as everybody else.
Right.
Because how earlier in the show, we were talking about how she wasn't called up with the other three ladies at the start of the Evolution because she was down in NXT as the NXT Women's Champion. There was so much that she went through to reach this point of herself, and her place as a horsewoman and as a part of the Evolution makes so much sense, and it's very integral. And she has inspired so many people, and so many women to even get in the business. So she doesn't get enough flowers. So this would be the perfect place for her to get, an opportunity and actually win the title that she really could have won. But I'm almost afraid that Becky will be so cagey that she would take advantage of Lyra and Bailey being angry at each other, and then take advantage of that and then retain. So it's hard. So I think I'll just give two predictions for that match. I think my first prediction is Bailey winning. And then my second prediction is Becky being cagey and placating both of them in order to retain.
Does she have any? Does Becky have any other outside beef besides Lyra and Bailey?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't, because who could return to distract and piss Bailey off and get Becky Lynch mad to distract?
Nobody really.
Nobody? Okay. Then I think Bailey will retain.
Yeah.
Bailey will win.
Or you mean Bailey will win? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that happening. I can definitely see Bailey winning, but I can also see Becky retaining in a dirty way. And I can low-key see this story keeping going, honestly. And it would be perfect. So yeah. I hate that Bailey and Lyra were fighting though. Like, that hurt my feelings. Because I'm just like we're just so sweet to each other after Becky did what she did. So for them to get to fighting, of course, because of Lyra's hubris to a degree, because she was mad at Becky, and I understand being angry enough to beat somebody up like that who did you wrong. I just don't like that it cost her friendship with Bailey.
Right.
That makes me sad. But it's about checks and championships. So yeah. Yeah, but I am excited about this match because, like I said, these women are so gifted. You've got 2 of the 4 horsewomen in a match.
It's insane.
That's insane. In one match together. And then you got Charlotte in the tag team. Lord Jesus, if Mercedes was there, it would have been great. But it's okay. It's okay. Mercedes is making history elsewhere.
Yes.
We love it. We love it. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just being selfish. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right.
It's not okay.
It's all right. It's all right. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Big pimping, big money match right here. We have the Women's World Championship on the line between these forever rivals, Io Sky and Rhea Bloody Ripley. Everybody's mommy.
Yes.
Everybody's girl crush.
Yes.
Everybody's favorite. Like everybody's favorite goth Amazon goddess queen, Bianca. These women have fought back and forth between NXT, WrestleMania, and back again. Io Sky has defeated Rhea Ripley multiple times between all these promotions. Rhea Ripley is hungry. But before we give our prediction for this has been an all-time week for women speaking their minds in wrestling. And I didn't get to address this beforehand like I wanted to, but I want to Rhea Ripley mentioned in an interview with Jackie Redmond before her street fight with Raquel Rodriguez at Night of Champions that she wants to be a multi-time champion, and if she's not in this business to be a champion, then what the hell is she doing it for? And people online literally had the audacity to come at her for actually wanting to be a multi-time champion because they were like, "Oh my God, you've been champion before. Why are you da 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 da? Why are you da 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 da?" And it speaks to the double standard of women having to just be satisfied with what they have, as opposed to people being happy. On the other side of people winning, like men winning things multiple times. Because I saw it when Charlotte won the Royal Rumble. Of course, that was her second time winning the Royal Rumble this year, 5 years apart from when she first won it, and people were upset. But then someone like Cody Rhodes, no shade to him, can win a Royal Rumble 2 years in a row, and everybody will be happy about it.
And main event WrestleMania 2 years in a row.
Exactly. But Rhea Ripley, who is literally one of the most over stars, if not the most over star at this point in WWE, can't want to be champion multiple times. Bianca, how do you feel about her speaking out on that and making that a point of conversation?
I'm happy she did. Talk like in the season of Evolution, and this is a new time. It's a new dawn. We're not in the 90s where women are scared to speak their minds. I mean, hey, I wasn't. I mean, I would think. I would. I mean, yeah, I would think so. Oh, but I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy she spoke up. We talk about ageism. We talk about the double standard between men and women in this industry, in this business, and how it's a male dominated business where women are trying to break in and have their own and express. And I want to say this too. How do I say this to, like, in a way that makes sense? Yeah, I'm happy she spoke up. It's good for her.
Yes.
Good for you for speaking up. I'm happy someone said something. Yeah.
I'm happy she said something. I'm happy, Charlotte spoke on it the way she did, because it makes all the sense in the world. Rhea is someone I remember not even to bypass all of her success that she had in NXT UK and NXT proper as we know it. When she got called up, there was a point where there was a level of, I guess, teetering where even when she won championships, there was something about her that was teetering. And then it's like once she joined the Judgment Day, it was almost like she was fully locked in to her power and who she truly was. And once she got locked into that and then had that match with Charlotte, I mean, mind you, she had fought Charlotte before and lost to her in 2020. And then she had that match with her in at WrestleMania, and she locked in and became like an undeniable star. She has just been on an upward trajectory ever since. And it was always meant for her to be a star because she was always a great wrestler. She was always powerful. She was always beautiful. Like even when she first started, she was blonde and everything else. before she became our favorite gothic Amazon queen. She was still beautiful, with that. And now it just seems like the stars have all aligned for her to be in this position where she's in. And so the idea that she spoke out about wanting to be champion multiple times as opposed to just being satisfied with the opportunities that she has had spoke to me in a very deep way. And I'm going to take the screen away for a second while I'm saying this. Um because in life, as a woman, and sometimes even especially as black women, us women to women talking to each other, and there's a level of a ceiling that people try to place on you,
Mhm.
and they try to tell you, oh, you should just be satisfied because you have done this, you have done that, you have done this. Why can't you just satisfied? Why can't you just, you know, rest and just be happy with what you have done and just leave the rest of it alone? And honestly, why can't I have the drive of a man?
Okay.
Why can't I want all of the things that is promised to an average male?
Right.
If I'm working just as hard, if not harder, because let's be honest, if you're a woman of color, if you're a black woman, you have to do twice as much, sometimes three times as much
Mhm.
to get noticed, to get opportunities. If I have the work ethic, why can't I want more for what I give?
Yeah.
And Rhea Ripley has given so much of herself to the whole Judgment Day when she was being critiqued for getting in the men's business, even by me, because I did critique it to a degree. I'll own that. From people critiquing her and how she looks and all the above and all the comparisons and everything, that woman has paid her dues, and she is just so young for someone who has accomplished as much as she has accomplished. She is still very young. Like she is like 27 or 28, 29 years old. And there is
Mary.
still so much more that she has left to prove. And if she wants to be champion multiple times, then she has the right to be. If we can sit here and watch, no shade to the New Day, because I love the New Day all the way down.
By the
If
way,
we can
what are they wearing on
if we
Monday?
can watch the New Day be tag team champions multiple times, if we can sit here and watch, um as unpopular as he is right now, Brock Lesnar be champion as many times as he was, if we can sit here over the years and watch, um oh my god, even Triple H, no shade to him, be as champion multiple times for as long as he was, then why can't we live in a world where women can work just as hard in wrestling and be champions for as long, like Athena, or as many times as Rhea wants to be champion? Why do we just have to settle with what we're given when we see so many other men eating the steak all the time and we just have to settle for our vegetables? No, baby. I want the whole meal. I want to eat Ruth Chris. I want to eat whatever other fancy stuff that these men are doing, especially if I'm pulling in all these people. Like
Yeah.
there are people who have probably never watched wrestling in their lives who know who Rhea Ripley is because they love her look and they love her aesthetic. She is bringing all types of people in, even Bianca. She is bringing all types of people in who have never thought to give wrestling a chance. All of the women are doing that. So how come these women can work so hard, leave their families, do all these things, but yet can't want as much or want just as much as the men and want as just as many championships as the men? Why is it that we're okay with John Cena reaching 17 titles, but we balk at Charlotte Flair possibly matching her father's
Right.
title reigns? Like why? Like
Yeah.
that, it's time out for that. It's 2025. If these women work that hard, then they deserve to be rewarded as hard.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely agree. And I'm glad you brought up John Cena in 17 times. Like, has there never been a female wrestler who won that much? Like in the history of WWE?
In terms of WWE, I don't think so. And Charlotte is the closest because she's been champion 14 times.
And she's the only multi-champion that I know of.
Like she's been singles champion 14 times. That's not counting, the tag team stuff. But yeah, she's been a singles champion 14 times. Yeah. And I would argue that that she should have broken the record before John Cena did, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's her birthright.
Right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm surprised Ric Flair hasn't done anything to make that happen.
Or said anything, but I don't want Charlotte's lot to be, oh, my dad got this for me.
Yes.
Because that's another component, that could feed into it, is the whole nepotism thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't want her to just, but at the same time, and yeah, I don't want that to be her lot,
right,
either. So yeah, I just want us to live in a world where it's okay for women to want more, to be driven, to want to succeed at the level of a man. Like, right. I want that for us.
Me too.
And I want that for Rhea. Mm-hmm. So back to the subject at hand. Mm-hmm. This prediction for this championship match. Bianca, who do you think? Yeah.
You got and then you got this is
Bianca.
Yes. Oh, am I muted?
No, it's my computer. Hold on. You're trying to come back, but the screen is loading.
Hello? Am I good?
Hold on. Okay, let's pop her back in real quick.
Am I back?
Okay, you're back. You're back. Okay. You're good.
Awesome. Yeah.
So what is your prediction?
Well, first you have Ms. And then you have "This Is My Brutality." But by the way, that entrance at WrestleMania 39 with Motionless in White is one of my favorite entrances of all time. I get chills.
Yeah, that was WrestleMania 40, and that was 40? Great. That was 40.
I'm sorry, world. It's WrestleMania 40. Oh my God, that was with her hair blowing in the wind, and then the lead singer Motionless in White and Rhea Ripley, like
twins.
I love that. Oh my
beautiful
God. Oh, I'm getting chills right now. It's oh God. I like EO though, but I like. Oh God. Who wants it more? You can't go wrong with this. I won't be mad if either one wins. I like them both. They deserve it. But you want them to choose? Okay.
Yeah.
Does EO retain or does Rhea become champion again? It's been some time, but I think it'll be weird if it'll be weird if How long has EO been champion?
Whew. She's been champion since, I want to say, late February to mid-March. Late February to the beginning of March, because she won the title, I believe, because Rhea won it from Liv at the first Netflix episode, and EO beat her for it after Bianca won Elimination Chamber. And that was leading to WrestleMania. So I want to say EO has been champion since late February or maybe the middle of February till now. Because, of course, she retained at Mania. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it's been a number of months.
Yeah. I was like, do I let EO retain it for a little bit longer or just Rhea take it? I think Io retains.
You think Io retains?
I know.
Hmm.
Oh. Is it too soon for Io to lose it, or should she keep it longer? This is a hard one because they are so talented.
Yes.
They have potential. Oh gosh, who wins
People
this?
love them.
Yeah. I'll just let this play out.
Oh my God. You sound like me when it comes to two people I love in a match and then I can't choose and I'm just gonna let it play out. That is something that I would do. That's very me coded. I like that. That is me coded, but that's not gonna be me right now, if I'm being completely honest. If I'm being completely honest, I'm predicting that Rhea Ripley is gonna finally beat Io and win her championship back. And at this point, with how she felt about winning the championship again, I want her to get it back.
I'm feeling that.
just because of that, I want her, just because of her drive and all of that stuff. I love you, Io, but baby, I want Rhea to get it back. I want Rhea to get it back, and I just hope that there's more story after she gets it back. Of course, um, I just to big her up as the star that she is.
Yeah.
So I want Rhea to win the title. I'm predicting that Rhea Ripley will win the championship and finally beat Io after all these years.
Okay. I never realized that Rhea has never beat Io Sky.
Yeah, that's been a part of their story. Like they showed the clips on Raw of their rivalry from NXT all the way on, and even in the Mae Young Classic too. Like she's never beaten Io.
Then I think now that you say that, well, give it to Rhea then. That's my now that you say that, and I never knew that. Okay. I think, yeah, give it back to Rhea this time.
Yeah,
But I will still let this play out.
that's valid. That is 100% valid. That is 100% valid. So yeah, that ends our predictions. We made our predictions for the entirety of Evolution.
Ooh.
We had a great discussion about women's wrestling and where we wanted to go in terms of its progress and just how happy we are that this is happening again and all of the things. So we have reached the end of our prediction show and our time together. So Bianca Addison, thank you so much for joining me
It's
on
been
this show.
This was so fun. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I hope to have you back in the future. And of course, for those who are watching live on all the platforms, thank you guys so much for watching us live. And of course, if you didn't catch it live and you weren't able to watch it tonight, you can watch it later on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with the logo that you see in the corner. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers. We are almost there.
Wow.
So let's get up there.
Yes.
Bianca subscribe, so you subscribe, okay?
And
Yes.
and you can please, if you will, follow me on Twitter at Bianca Addison, Instagram at Bianca Addison. I also have a ring announcing page I've created on Instagram to showcase my ring announcing abilities. So follow me at Ebony Rose Ringside. That's Ebony with an I, not Y. It's Ebony Rose Ringside. Follow me on TikTok, also on at Ebony Rose Ringside. Yeah. And that's Ebony with an I again.
Ebony with an I,
Yes.
not Ebony with a Y, like the magazine, Ebony with the I.
Yes.
So thank you for saying that. Like I don't know where my brain is. I just forgot because I usually tell people to say where they can follow you. I don't know where my brain is. But either way, Bianca, thank you so much for telling everybody where they can find and follow you and for joining me on the show. And of course, y'all know you can follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter/X at Queen Steph Hardy.
Follow.
Follow the Hardy Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod.
Yes.
And also follow it and like it on Facebook, which is the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. And just continue to be on the lookout for any announcements or any new pieces that I may write for Daily DDT. Read all of my articles for Daily DDT and book your girl for different wrestling events, because I do still would love to get into ring announcing, as well as do more commentary as well. So if you have a wrestling event, whether it be in Alabama or wherever, I'm open to travel. So book your girl, book
Yes.
your girl, book your girl.
Book a girl.
And
Book
of
your girl.
course, I will be in Atlanta for Evolution, because I will be representing HWP for media, and I'm so excited to be a Black woman creator of this show and this platform, and being able to be there, because I wasn't able to be there for the first Evolution. Didn't know how to travel at that time. It's okay, but I'm happy to be a part of this one on such a historic weekend where so much wrestling is taking place and so much is happening for the progress of women's wrestling, and getting to see Beyonce that weekend too. So it's great. It's lit. I'm gonna feel like running through a brick wall at the end of it. So yeah,
all worth it.
it's all worth it, and I'm really grateful. So of course, this has been the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy and Bianca Addison. And until next time,
Wrestling is real. Wrestling
Wrestling is real. Wrestling is cool, and women's wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
And women's wrestling is
Period.
always cool.
Yes.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.